All right. Stop trying to fix your high touch workflows and start dismantling them before they bankrupt you. The 2026 pivot isn't about working harder. It's about killing the legacy systems that drain your resources. We are shifting from manual chaos to productized value delivery, or we're exiting the market entirely. Hi, we are Nate and Simone, and this is the Growth Ceiling Podcast. Welcome. Let's get into it.
All
Hi,
right.
Nate.
Yeah, hello, hello. Okay, so if your growth, for those of you out there listening, if your growth still depends on exception handling and everything's custom, then you're paying a manual load tax that you can't see, and there's no formal line item on your 1040, right? Today we're gonna look at dismantling that. It's interesting. This reminds me of something I heard of recently, by the way. I'll just throw this in here. It's called the goldfish tax. Have you heard this? Goldfish
Never, no.
crackers. Goldfish crackers, apparently they're
Oh,
saying that
yeah.
there's a parent tax, for goldfish crackers that they give to their kids. They're always sneaking some, taking
Oh,
them.
yeah, yeah.
So they're giving them this is like a promo that a marketing promo.
Mm.
If you fill out a goldfish tax return form, they'll send you like a free box, something like that. Anyway, kind of funny.
Oh, I love
But
that. That's interesting.
this is not quite the same thing. Just so you know, everyone, I don't want to confuse you, but we are, we're looking at how can we, in this modern age, this day and age of automation, autonomous,
Yeah.
AI bots and things like this.
AI and AI agents and
Why,
yeah.
yeah, why aren't we using this, or how can we use this? And, 100% we should be, basically. So,
Right,
um,
right.
yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Uh,
So like yeah, we're when we talk about this manual load tax, right? Where this custom work comes in and we end up we end up desystematizing our businesses and reworking things, and it ends up with longer cycles and thinner margins and what we used to call in contracting scope creep, right?
yeah.
Um, and so what we have to do is to get away from working in that way and putting in place a system that works for everyone,
Yeah, absolutely.
including you as the business owner,
What a
right?
novel idea, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah,
We didn't start our
so
businesses to be slaves, did we?
yeah, basically, with the way we're at now, 2026, we're going into this is the beginning of quarter Q2, right?
Hmm.
2026. Lots going on, a lot of developments in AI. Pardon me. Last year, they talked a lot about how 2026 is going to be a big year for AI agents and whatnot. And boy, they were not lying, right? There's a lot of developments with that, with vibe coding, and so you can vibe code your own agent now, and that kind of stuff. Like it's crazy. Um, and how can we put this to work for us? How can we automate some stuff? How can we productize the thing that we do have and get away from the high touch, constant, we're going to customize this thing for you. As it turns
It's
out, your
well,
our
I kind of want to throw in here that like it doesn't mean that there is no customization whatsoever. It means
yeah.
that there are some parts of your system that are customized and some that are not.
Yeah, and I think it also has to do with how you're thinking about customization. We'll get into
Yes.
that too.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So buyers today, they are expecting clear outcomes, clear pricing, faster decisions. Um, they ain't got no time to wait around on you, basically. You know?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, the and showing value, proving value is coming from consistent outcomes, not necessarily complexity. Just because your offer or whatever it is that you do seems to be more complex doesn't make it better. If anything, it just makes it more confusing for them, right?
Yeah.
And if you're productizing your offer, whatever it means, or whatever that is, it means that your promises are tighter. You're able to meet them, probably more consistently in that case. And there's clearer boundaries. Like we talked about, you just mentioned scope creep, right?
Yeah.
Big, big, big problem.
Yes.
All right. Um, so we're gonna again lay this out around the V3 system, as usual. With visibility, we're going to talk about defining who you win, or excuse me, who you win for, and help your team to qualify the leads faster. Not like I've been watching a lot of like track and field videos on loop, like that, not that kind of qualifying. But anyways, viability, making the revenue flow visible and your handoffs clean. So providing visibility into how the revenue is flowing in the business, making sure everybody understands what's going on, and those handoffs, like from one department to the next, whatever that may be, depending on the size, obviously. But maybe you only have one or two people working in the business. That's okay. Make sure that nothing gets dropped in between. And
That
then,
workflow still needs to be tight,
yeah,
even if it's just two
yeah.
people.
Yeah, and if it's only one person, you especially need to make sure that you're not dropping in the ball on anything, right? It's kind of counterintuitive. You think, oh, if there's only one person, I'm the only one that's responsible for this. I can handle it all, no problem. But
Right. Right.
um, and then for that value, we're converting our knowledge into repeatable assets and margins. That gives you kind of an idea where we're going with this. Okay, so for visibility, first off, we're trying to attract the demand that is right for us, and we're going to empower those teams to make decisions on their own. Um, so they have to have that information that they need in order to make those decisions, right?
Right.
So
So then when it really it comes down to um everyone on the team knowing who really is your ideal client, what do
yeah,
they look like, um, what what stage of business are they in, or what stage of whatever,
yeah, and you might
whatever,
have different.
depending on your client, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're going to have different segments depending on what it is that you're
what you're
selling, right?
doing.
But
Yeah. And like, so who's a right fit and who's not a right fit? And then when you bring them in, okay, what's our messaging around it? And how do you present that message to this prospect and this client? And what does that look like? And that makes that visibility so much more clean.
absolutely.
Everybody knows
And
what's going on.
yep, a way if you want to use a template to kind of figure out what it is you're working on as far as your outcome is concerned. Here's one that you can file away or keep handy. We help who fill in the blank who
Mhm.
achieve result without a trade-off of some kind in the time frame using whatever method that it is that you employ.
Okay.
So we help who achieve what or result without a trade-off in a certain time using whatever it is that what our USP, right? Or proprietary information or whatever system, frameworks.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
And
cool. Can we do like an example? Like
yeah.
what if I was a weight loss coach, right? Could we say, I help people who are 50 pounds overweight achieve achieve weight loss without without starving yourself in
Yeah,
60
that's good.
days using the what do you call it? The Aikido method or something like
The
that.
star method. Yeah, it could be literally anything. I don't know what that,
Right.
whatever it may be.
So, yeah, so something like
Yeah.
that. Like you have you know who it is you're helping, you know what result you're trying to help them achieve. What is the thing that they want to avoid? So that's that trade-off. Do you have a timeline that you can say, okay, we can help you achieve this goal in this particular time, and we do have a method, we have a set method, a set framework, a set blueprint that we follow. And so and that is something that's a framework for dealing with all of your clients regardless of what their specific needs are. There's that framework, there's that blueprint. So it helps you to productize your services. It's never like
Yeah.
just kind of up in the air.
Yeah. We help small business owners achieve predictable revenue growth in their business without adding more chaos and undue unnecessary time in 6 months using the V3 growth system, for example. Yeah. All right.
If we have a winner.
Yeah. All right. Um, so so the idea here is we're kind of consolidating down from all these different offers. We're going to focus on the one thing that we do really well. And we're going
Yeah.
to, this is our offer, right? And that's going to help us when it comes to visibility because it's going to attract the people that, respond to that. Okay, oh, they're going to be able to do that for me within 30 days or whatever. That's
Mhm.
fantastic. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And it's within my, budget, both time-wise and money-wise. I'm all in. Let's go.
I
And
wanted to
obviously they have something figured out here because they're checking all the boxes here, like
check the boxes.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. I wanted to kind of interject, like your ideal client doesn't necessarily have to be a specific, say your business helps other businesses. Does it have to be a particular niche if what you're doing is the same process over and over for a business that's in a set, like if they're in a set like stage of their growth, or they're a certain size, or they're a certain type of business, service based, or like brick and mortar, or home based businesses, that kind of thing. What do you think?
Well, I'm a fan of building out like an avatar,
Mhm.
that helps when it comes to acquiring that visibility because that is the person thinking of them as an individual makes it easier because it's easier to speak to a person and write something to a person that you have in mind than it is to kind of like an amorphous industry size company, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm. Yeah.
those are all important, don't get me wrong, but boiling it down, and that's what we're talking about, like
So
creating like
keeping it as narrow as possible.
I think so.
Okay.
To just to make it easier on you to when it
Yeah.
comes to putting the message out there, make it,
And
make
it
it easy
helps
on
that
yourself.
productization,
Yeah.
um, that to so you can template out your service and it
Yeah.
works for everybody that you bring in the door.
Yeah. There's a
Okay.
lot that goes into that, but of course you're going to have to make sure that it's set on some kind of like, principles that apply broadly, and all
Yeah.
this. And it's got to be something that's deep enough and structural enough that, that's why in my opinion, the V3 growth system works so well is because it's focused on building that foundation in the business. What structurally is going on under the hood that needs to be fixed in order for everything else to actually work better, And a lot of it's based on, first principles, like what are the qualities of a great business, and then what are the qualities of a business that is ready to grow, to get into that next stage. That's how I approach it. Like, and then from there, like, okay, this is the person who is in this business at this stage that I want to be talking to. That's how I think of it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you have that in mind, then you're then you can filter out all through all of your leads,
Yeah.
and decide, okay, who is the right fit, who's that right lead, and then your team is empowered to to know, like, okay, these are our qualifications. I've got a script, I have my list, my checklist, and I know, okay, who gets a proposal and who doesn't, who gets offers and who doesn't, who's going to be a great fit for us to work with and who's not. So it's
Yeah.
going to be easy to decide.
Yeah.
And when
I'm
you when
actually
you're able to do that, it makes pulling leads so much easier and faster, right?
I'm putting this to the test right now with a client actually, and we're
Mhm.
building Facebook legion ads. I don't. This is
Okay.
not something I normally do, but um, they need some help. So um, in my research, I've discovered that what works really well in this particular industry, which is home remodeling, is
Hmm.
that you are in the when and if you're doing Facebook ads, the lead form. On the lead form, there's qualifying questions around budget,
Mm.
which is going to eliminate a lot of tire kickers right off the bat.
Right.
Yeah, because so much time has been taken up, so much of the owner's time is being taken up by people that aren't really serious. They're just, wanting to find out what it's going to cost for
Yeah.
someday down the road. They're not really
Right.
ready
They might
right
be
now.
dreaming. Yeah. They're
So,
the dreamers. They're dreaming
which
for,
is
oh, one
fine,
of these
you know.
days. Yeah, it's nice,
That's
but
why that's why we build a
it's not.
calculator for the
Takes their
for the
time.
website. They can
Yeah.
go look at the calculator and enter in their information, not waste our time, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Makes so much sense.
anyways, having that figured out, what are those filters, makes it a lot easier, incidentally, when it comes to informing an AI,
Mm.
and bringing in automation into your system, because you can tell it these are the parameters I'm looking for, right?
Mm. Exactly.
AI and automation is great for that kind of stuff. So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I think a lot of people think that the AI is going to do their thinking for them, or it's going to make these decisions for them, but you don't want to abdicate your thinking to the AI,
no,
because it's more than likely it's going to get it wrong. So you
that,
decide who your ideal fit is, and you tell the AI, and then have the AI, help you to come up with qualifying questions and, checklists, and it knows, okay, if a lead comes in and they say, well, their budget is below your threshold, well, then that's a decision point where, okay, we're not going to make this person the offer, you know?
right. Yeah, time is finite, and if they aren't your ideal customer, then you don't want to waste your time on that. That being said, there's a case to be made in that case for downsells, but we're trying to streamline things here. So
Yeah. Yeah.
for right now, focus on one thing. What's your one offer that you do really well, and you can say I can do it within this time frame,
Yeah.
And this is my framework that I'm using. Make it tangible, make it like, oh, okay, I get it. So boom, boom, I'm there. And then
Absolutely.
that makes it easy for the team, right? If you have other people that you're working with or that you've hired, you can, once you know what you're offering, you can create a script, which is the first touch, set up all kinds of rules around, do this, don't do this, this is how we put them into the different categories, right?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and it just makes it easier for them because it's easier to set up the expectation. A lot of teams, and a lot of what do you call it? Frustrations, right? Or when the root of all frustration, I've heard it said, is when expectation does not meet reality. So,
Yes.
so uh, if you have this figured out, you are setting the expectation, and it should meet reality, and so everybody's going to be happy in that case, right? So,
Right.
all right.
Wonderful.
So viability, let's get into how does this help us here? Um, we're
So the whole idea of viability is we want to make sure that revenue is more predictable, and by making sure that our handoffs are standardized and there's a happy path that all our clients are following, right? They come in the door
yeah,
and they're here, and what's the next step? What's the step after that? What's the step after that? What's the step after that? I always like to call it a workflow. I am historically a developer, and building out workflows, that's like my thing, right? Um, you're bringing somebody down the path, and they come to a point where it's like, okay, are they here or are they here? What's the decision point? And eventually it brings everybody to an expected end. Where they
yeah.
get that wonderful result.
If you have a thoroughly thought through offer that is valuable, that you can complete within a certain time frame, this should be relatively easy for you to put together because certain things have to get done in order for you to meet that time frame, right?
Right.
Think of it that way. So work your way backwards, right? This is our goal. This is what we're going to end up with. Now, how do we get there, right?
Yeah.
And then
So that's that path.
start formulating that path.
Hmm.
What steps need to happen? What steps do my clients need to take in order for them to end up being really happy at the end? You know, so you go from the lead, you qualify them, you close them, they're onboarded, the service is delivered, and then they either renew or they refer other people to you. It's that simple, you
Hmm.
know. But of course, the devil's in the details, right?
Yeah. So within each of these steps, there could be some things going on, but we have to. But that's where, and we don't want to let scope creep come into there. And then we also want to make sure that each of those modules is encapsulated, so they're not necessarily uh, unduly affecting the other paths, like the step that comes after, or even the step that comes before. So and I think this probably takes some really thinking it through, and testing it out. So, like, test it out manually, absolutely. Make sure that it works well manually, and then automate it.
Yeah, again, this is where automation is great because it's a defined, repeatable path, right?
Mhm.
Of course, like I said, the devil's in the details. So, what aspects within that lead acquisition portion can be automated, for example, right? How can you get someone from seeing the ad that you've created or whatever it is that whatever lead generation form it takes, how can you get them from there into your CRM, presumably, hopefully you have one of these, because you're going to need some place to keep that information, for your own sanity, right? Trying to remember everything is not going to work out for you very well, I don't think.
Keeping it all
Um,
on spreadsheets is
yeah,
probably not a good idea, you know?
yeah. I mean, that involves a lot of manual work,
Hmm.
unless you're automating, the information being put into the spreadsheet, which is that can be doable,
It can be done, yes.
but it's still not ideal, right?
It's not, yeah,
The retrieval of that information is going to be clunky. You want to make it usable, right? And
right.
make it easier for you to digest. And, there's so many tools out there now that allow you to kind of incorporate AI to pull insights from the information that's available. I just saw another new CRM that is like AI first, right? Here recently, I can't remember the name of it. Another one that I tried out though was Atio, and that one is specifically built as an AI first CRM. So
Mhm.
you bring in information. It has its own like video record function, similar to what we're using with Fathom, but it's a built into the CRM. So when you record the call, the information goes immediately into the CRM, and then you can tell you can have it set up, automation set up inside the CRM to analyze that call, pull out specific bits of information that you're looking for, and it will populate it into the CRM for you. And so, the next time it sees that you booked a call with this person, can bring up a prep a call prep sheet for you based on your previous conversations. Like, this is science fiction stuff here, people, but it's here.
Yeah, it's
Like,
here. Yeah.
um, and if you're not using this to your advantage, I guarantee you your competition is.
Right.
Um,
So yeah, if they can do it easier and faster, then you're immediately you're falling behind.
yeah. Um, okay. There's three critical pieces here that we need to standardize. One is when a lead is accepted. So, and we're talking about the qualification bit, right? So there's marketing qualified leads and there's sales qualified leads. If they've been qualified for sales, that means that they're sales ready. They have the budget, they have budget, authority, need, and a timeline. They're banned, right? We've qualified them. We know that that they have this need, and we know we can help them. Um, got to get that standardized. What does that look like? What are the questions that you're asking to figure that out? And then um, the gap between when you've closed them and you've won them over to your side. They're a paying customer. Now what?
Right.
What happens then? Um, I'll bet I can ask
Yeah, you don't want to
10
lose
people
them
and
at
nine
that
people
point.
won't be able to tell me. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. Too many
so
people lose them at that
that's
point.
that's that onboarding bit, right?
Hmm.
What is the scope of the project? What is the timeline? Are there assets that need to be handed over or given access to during this time
Right.
period? All of that needs to be taken care of right there in that. And if again, if you have thought this through, this is a well-defined offer, you have all the steps figured out, this should be easy, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then the third one is the actual delivery of the thing until it's a successful outcome.
And
So,
that within itself, that success piece
yes.
can have within it its own success path, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Depending on the service that you're providing.
Hmm. There's a lot devil in the details again,
Mhm.
this is there's a lot of variables in here, but generally speaking, I think this is pretty good as far as like checking the boxes for on a broad scale, let's say. Within that delivery to success bit is the actual cadence of the delivery, making sure it's paced well. Your client can digest the information that you're giving them. You're giving them plenty of space to think it through. It kind of, again, depends on what it is, but um, we're not talking about selling toothbrushes here, by the way. So this is, you know, this is This is high ticket
Yeah, services that have a longer sales
services.
cycle. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
high ticket where
yeah,
your client needs more of a budget. Um,
yeah,
it is possible to customize the services,
yeah,
highly customize them, but we don't want to necessarily lean on that. We want to productize. This is what we're talking about, productizing something that could be highly customized.
yeah. And I think what we're talking about here could equally apply in the case where you're a consultant delivering a high ticket service to your clients, or you're a home services business that has a high ticket service that they're delivering to their client, right?
Yeah.
Th- there's there's obviously going to be some differences, but broadly speaking, you need to have it figured out. Once the lead has been accepted and they're sales ready, what happens then? Who owns that? Once they've been closed, they're a paying customer. What is the process for getting them on board and getting all the stuff that you need so that you can get started? And then from the delivery to success, how long what steps are going to need to be taken, especially if you're talking about getting into somebody's house and wrecking it for a month. Like you got to have this figured out.
Right.
Um,
Gonna
and
be as
then,
painless as possible.
yeah. Um, okay. Having a minimum viable system
Mm.
may be a good start. So
So
I
this
think we
is
talked
kind of
about this
like
before. You have one offer, you have one channel, right, that you're focused on. Makes it a heck of a lot easier for you, for one thing. But
yeah.
you can get really good at doing that one thing, and then you can move on to the next, right?
Then
But
you can, yeah, put it up. And so that gives you a very, very tight funnel, right? Where
yeah,
everyone is going down the same path and you're looking at a single channel, standardize everything, standardized flow. What happens next, what happens next, what happens next.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I have part of my system is like I bring people in on a growth clarity call is what I'm calling it.
mhm.
Basically get information from them, talk through whatever problem they're encountering in their business, and then I take that information um, and I analyze it and I create an outline, which is based around my findings for a future call. Usually it's a future call. Sometimes I get it like it's pretty obvious within that same call, and I'm able to say, okay, here's what's going on. Focus on this, that, and this, right? But I try to make it so that to the point where I'm actually like creating like a prompted AI bot, right? I feed it the information and it gives me an outline for my next call based around that information. But also there's also the information that is relevant to what it is that I do, like my system and everything is kind of hidden behind there, right? And so but it's a way for me to easily productize that delivery is what I'm getting at here. Um, so having a single intake channel, standardizing your discovery process. If you can automatically assign tasks and reminders when it comes to what if it's a project-based situation, fantastic. I have completely set up a project management tool that sends out automated email reminders based on the different stages of the project, right? Um, a lot of tools to do that nowadays. So,
Yeah. I was talking to a lady a while back and she was talking about how, how do you automate this system of keeping clients around, keeping them around for longer. And I was telling her, well, yeah, it can be automated. It can be highly personalized, but it can also be automated. But then you can have parts of your system that hand off to humans, and then you can have the humans hand it off back to the automated system so there's pieces of your program where you can have it where like you have it where it's going to send you a reminder, add a task so that the human has to do. You
Yeah.
know, I'm working on a an application now where the the system starts and it's completely automated. When it's like gathering information from the client, they pay, and then we need to hand off to a human to review everything that comes in, and they have their own checklist of what they're checking for, and then hand it back to the automated system for the rest of the
Yeah.
process. you know
Checklists are magical. They make the world go round, right?
yeah,
I always say there's a reason why pilots and nurses always use checklists, right?
right.
They would
Don't
not be able
rely
to
on your
take
memory
off
for things.
without
Yeah,
checking things off. You know, like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
this is
And
how
so
everyone knows where everything is.
even
Yeah,
within the human based system, there's a bit of automation there when it comes to relying on a checklist and making sure that um, that everything has eyes on, everything gets checked off
yeah.
properly, and then
Human in the
handed
loop.
back over to the automated system.
That's a human in the loop. You're going to hear that more
Mm.
often, I think. It's
Yeah,
putting a human into the loop of the automation and
right.
getting human approval for that next step, whatever that may be.
Hmm.
Um, you know, just making sure that things are going along smoothly and,
There's human oversight over everything, making sure
yeah.
everything is working the way it's supposed to.
So
Yeah.
far, AI is not able to do that
Mm.
well. Um, so yeah, or you wouldn't want to trust it to be able to do it yet. But,
At least not yet.
at least not yet. Um, some other things to do. Having pre-built assets is awesome. So again, if you only have the one offer, that makes it a heck of a lot easier because you already have your proposal template set up. All I have to do is enter in a couple of details and boom, just send it. Oh, you know,
Mhm.
super easy. Get them sign off on it and good to go. All right. So things to kill inside of our system here. What should we look at to kill?
Mm.
Custom quoting for every detail is
Oh
one
my
thing.
goodness.
This is
I'm just working with working with a group. Every time we got a new lead, we get a referral, or somebody would make an inquiry. And the question was always, what are we offering? And then what should we charge? And that just slows the whole process down. It's like,
yeah,
okay, let's all of this stuff should be decided ahead of time.
yeah.
We know what we're offering. And if that person doesn't want it, um, maybe we allow a little bit of wiggle room for offering, tailoring the offering a little bit, but not massively. And if they don't want what we have to offer, well, they're not our client. We let them go. And maybe they find somebody that's gonna that's gonna give them exactly what they need, you know?
Mm, yeah.
Um, you don't want that question every single time. It needs to be it needs to be standardized, and having, like we said, that checklist. Um, yeah, there's no
Hmm.
that custom quoting for every deal. Oh my goodness, not good. Have a
Yeah.
package.
If you're gonna do that, make sure that you're charging appropriately for
Yeah.
the extra effort in that case. Um, how about manual scheduling?
Mm.
That's
Nope.
another one.
Yeah. An online system can take care of scheduling so much easier
Hmm.
and faster. Like
Yeah.
there's no reason to go back and forth. When are you available? When am I available? When are you available? Oh, well, there's no need for all of that.
And now like, AI can actually literally do that. You tell AI
Yeah,
when you're available, you give it access to your calendar, and it can book it for you on your
they
behalf.
can book
Like
it for
so,
you, whether through text or even through voice now.
through
So
voice. Yeah.
yeah, it feels like you're talking to a person when in fact you're talking to AI that has access to your calendar.
Yeah.
It's
I can
great.
tell if it's AI usually, but
Mhm.
some there are some out there that are very, very good. It's uncanny.
Yeah.
Um, Usually, though, for the vast majority of them, it's kind of easy to tell. But anyway, I
Yeah,
think
but
most
they're
people
very
don't really
effective.
care. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
because
very effective.
yeah, they're probably more assured that their message is going to be carried to the right person that way. And in some cases, there's some amount of doubt when it comes to actually if this person that I'm talking to is going to be able to or going to give relay the message appropriately, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of
Whereas the
depends, but
AI is recording you word for word,
yeah,
so it's not getting anything, it's not leaving anything
yeah.
out.
Another one, especially this is applies to your clients, ad hoc check-ins.
Mm,
If you have it set up, these are the times when we're going to be meeting. This is, I'll be calling you.
yeah,
Otherwise, it becomes kind of a mess.
yeah.
Um, a double data entry. So having the same information in more than one location, oh my gosh, that's like fingers on a chalkboard, just thinking about it for me. Like,
I think that was one of the biggest selling points for me of my CRM is
yeah,
that because it does all these different things, I rely on one contact list.
yeah.
That one contact list has all the people that I've met with on my calendar, all the people who have been customers of mine that have paid me something, all the people who are like are part of my online community. They're all just in one place, and it makes it so much easier. And like, yes, you can segment them, you can tag them for different things, but I know where to go to get a phone number. I don't need to
Yeah.
remember. Oh, did this person schedule a call with me? Oh, well, then they're in Calendly. Did this person buy something from me? Oh, well, they're on my in Stripe or something. They're on my customer list, right? They're having them all in one place is just so it
Yeah, and
saves so much time.
you never know. You go back through and like, oh, I wonder what they're up to,
Mm,
kind of thing.
yeah,
But if you've got a automated reminder system that tells you to get in touch with somebody, then you don't have to worry about that. But hopefully you have that in place. But again,
yeah,
if you have a single source of truth, that allows you to do that, right? So
right.
that you don't have run into that problem, like, oh, I wonder what happened to them. Kind of, oh, I haven't talked to them for several months. Like that should never happen nowadays,
Mhm.
right? Um,
Mm.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, with all of the
So,
places where we can, all of the ways and the places that we can collect data.
mm,
Um, yeah, that's
yeah,
true. There shouldn't be anything. There should be no wondering what's going on with this person because we
hmm.
we have all the data. It's all there. We
And
know.
they shouldn't be wondering what happened to you either, because,
That's true
same
too.
same thing, right?
That's true too.
Um, I've had this come up recently with a client of mine who has three email addresses. And he doesn't ever seem to know what's going to where. And I'm like,
Yeah,
like, what is going
that
on here?
that can be so tedious because you
Yeah,
just don't
that
know.
would drive you crazy.
Oh goodness.
Anyways, all right. So, well, I have multiple email addresses, but they all go to the same place. I'll just interject that. That
Yeah.
that's a different story. Anyway, all right. So if you're keeping score, you want to build a scoreboard around this, your viability in this case, where you're trying to remove manual processes and try to speed things up and optimizing. then some metrics that you want to pay attention to in that case. Cycle time by stage, right? How many days does it take each prospect to move from one stage to the next? Keeping an eye on that will help you to optimize things. Why is this person stuck here for 15 days when it only took them 2 days from to become like qualified from a marketing qualified lead to a sales qualified lead? Why are they stuck in the proposal stage? What's going on here?
Yeah. I think
Um,
that also gives you a view into what part of your pipeline may not be working as well as it could
right,
be. You
exactly.
know, what
Something
if
is
you're
wrong
bringing in a
there.
ton of
Yeah,
leads,
yeah,
but they're not all convert, or a high percentage of them aren't converting? Like,
yeah.
okay, well maybe there's a messaging problem on the website or
Mhm.
something, or
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
they're converting on the website, but then they're all kind of stuck in that new customer
Yep,
stage, and they haven't moved on. Oh, well, maybe there's something wrong with the onboarding system. It
yep.
kind of shows you where the bottlenecks are.
hmm Another one to pay attention to are your SLAs, your service level agreements. Um, Making sure that if what this is understood at this what's going to be happening here, and making sure that we're sticking to it, right? And how what percentage of on time deliveries are we experiencing in that case? Um, And then speaking of delivery, delivery margin by package. And this could be a physical product, or it could be, let's say you are a consultant of some kind and you have different package levels. What are your margins? Once you've accounted for your time, your whatever other costs are involved, what is your margin for each package? And in that case, you might start to see, oh, well, I'm only making 10% on this one, but over here it's 60. So, I'm gonna double down on this one, right?
Double down
So,
on the one that's working, right?
yeah. And then rework rate. Um, are there times that require you to change your scope? And this really comes up a lot in like home remodeling, especially, and those types of home service businesses, I think. Maybe you have somebody on the team that wasn't fully ready for what the job that you gave them, and so they installed something that they shouldn't have installed, before they laid down concrete, like, which causes a big rework issue there. You want to keep that to a minimum, trust me, because it's costly time and money wise to get that sorted out. So yeah, really eats into your margins. All right, value. We're building ultimately, right? We want to build a valuable business. So part of that, as we've talked about before, is being your business is scalable and it's sellable. Part of that is having SOPs, systems set up in the business. So how do we do that? Um, if you are paying attention to the margins that you are generating on the service that you're providing, how consistent it is, all of that, leads into transferability of the business once it's time to sell. Because the person who is looking to buy such a business is going to want to know these things, you know. And so if you're documenting them, you have them records of it, all the better for you.
So
All
you
right.
got your hits and your scoreboards and your knowledge bases, your playbooks, all of that. All of that is documented
Yeah.
um, and together in a place where it's now transferable.
hmm
You can take a team member out, or you can take yourself out of it and slot somebody else in, and the system keeps working. That's what we want. We want a system that works no matter who's doing it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So from if we boil this down into eight components, your outcome or your promise, and with that are the boundaries around that. You have tiered packages based on the segments that they're in. You know, they've already been qualified and you figured out where they're at. You have a playbook built around the delivery of the thing that you're providing. Look, like Simone said, there's a kit involved with onboarding, perhaps. There's a scorecard that you're using, your knowledge base. Um, there's a quality loop, right? Everybody is paying attention to these certain things and giving feedback and keep making sure that the quality is optimized. And then once they have experienced the success, is there an offboarding system or a referral program in place? So that's basically what we're talking about. All right. Let's see here. I guess the true test is could someone else run your business for 2 weeks if they're shadowing you, um, and they have all the information that you have. Let's test it out, right? I guess, and
Yeah.
let them
If
see
you
if they
go
can do
away
it.
for a month without your phone
Yeah,
and everything still work well.
yeah. All right. Some metrics to pay attention to in this case. We did three whole episodes around metrics. Gross margin per package. What is the percentage there? What is your retention and expansion rate? Your time to first value. I think we talked about that one. And then your referral rate per 10 clients. Keeping track of that, especially if you're going to have a referral program in place. All right. So let's keep moving on here. Looking at my notes. All right, let's talk about objections, potential objections here. What do we do if someone says, well, okay, this is great and everything, but our clients are unique.
Mm. Yeah, so that's where we talk about having a system. You have that path to success, but within that system, there may be add-ons, there may be places in that allow for customization, but overall, that workflow, that path stays the same. It doesn't change. So you may have a unique client with a unique situation, but the path for them is the same, and that allows you to have consistency.
Um, okay, what if we have somebody that says, well, if we productize this, that's going to cheapen our brand.
Or will it add clarity to your brand? I've seen like a lot of business owners, they can't really talk about what they do for their clients because what they do is all over the place. Oh, well, I do for these types of people, I do this, and for these types of people, I do that, and for these types of people, I do that. And it's like, okay, what exactly do you do? And they can't really explain it. Whereas if you productize, there's clarity. And not only is there clarity, there's also boundaries. So that when you do bring somebody on board, you're not you're not on the hook for just like what we talked about earlier, scope creep, right? Um, there's guardrails around your service and what you do. We do this, we don't do that. And that helps to keep your margins higher rather than eating into them because of time and because of um, you know, doing things that you weren't prepared for, you know.
Yeah. There's any number of examples of brands, products, physical products that appeal to discerning, luxury buyers. Um, just as there are examples, plenty of examples, probably way more examples of products that appeal to the everyman, the budget concerned.
Mhm.
But that has more to do with who, like the market segment that that company chooses to go after
Yeah.
than it does the cheapness, the perceived cheapness of the brand.
Yeah.
If your brand is cheap, that has more to do with your marketing messaging than anything. Like you're not going after the right one, and you're not saying the right things. There's something going on there that's wrong. It's not because you've systematized it, you've productized it, and it's a good offer. It's like, how can that be
Yeah.
bad? I just,
If they
you know,
put if they were to put McDonald's up for sale, I mean, how much would it be?
right.
It's a
Talk
very
about the epitome of systematized,
right,
productized.
highly
Yeah.
systematized, highly
Yeah.
productized,
Yeah.
and but they sell
Extremely
cheap
valuable though.
things.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
an extremely, extremely
But
valuable company,
that was their choice. They were going after the budget
the
conscious,
budget
the
consumer,
family
right?
that doesn't want to cook at home. They just want to go out for a quick bite to eat, you
Mhm.
know, fast turnaround time. That's how they got their market.
Yeah, but
Anyways,
standardization doesn't make it cheap.
no,
Not at all.
no.
Not at all. They are very
Um,
valuable
yeah.
brands. Hmm.
So, what about those that may say we need custom proposals if we want to win?
Well, going back to what we talked about before, you may have unique situations and customers that say, "Oh, I want something unique," but you still want to have a package that you're offering them, and give them options for add-ons, and there may be parts along your success path that allow for within that particular stage there's some customization within that stage that doesn't necessarily touch the other stages, so your full path continues to work even if your customer says, oh, I want something, uh, I want something very customized to me and and to what I do. You want to have having that package that may have add-ons still gives you that systematization. It gives you clarity, and it also puts those boundaries, which makes it faster, it's cleaner, and it's more consistent across the board for every client. You want your clients to have a consistently good experience, even
Hmm.
if they are getting even when they're getting parts of what you do customized.
Yep, yep. I'm experiencing something along these lines with a current client, and they came to me with the problem where they want to systematize their program. They
Mhm.
want to make things follow a certain path. They want to make it easy to have insights into the numbers, right? But in order to do that, they asked if we could do a custom app. Okay. No. So, okay. Now this presents an interesting problem because um, I haven't done that before, right? So, but I've had the good fortune of working with people that have. So, okay, we can work with this. But it's been for me like systematizing the process of the customization,
Yeah.
which is
Systematize the
very
customization, right?
this is a
I
very
like that.
interesting way to do this. So like
Uh,
I've created like an AI bot that helps me create the proposals that are based on the certain problems and enhancements that they want to see, right? I've fed it all the information that it needs in order to structure these proposals so they're consistent and have the same information in there every time, right? That's crucial for me, especially when it comes to like the warranty and like the special fifth like the bug testing window for software and all that. Got to make sure that keeping things online and it's uniform in that case. The other stuff, the other contents in there are going to be custom though, right? But the AI helps me to streamline that significantly. Like I would be buried under trying to write these out by hand. Otherwise, like I would just never get them done, and which is going that would contribute to a significant amount of you know uh, lack of communication. Right, details are going to get lost. Things are going to get dropped between the cracks. Scope creep is going to be rampant. So this helps me to make sure that that doesn't happen. Right.
Absolutely.
Um, it's interesting systematizing the customizations.
Which
That
is
is possible.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is possible. And I especially I feel like with AI, like you said, every client is going to maybe say something different, but you feed it into an AI tool that you have trained it
Right. Right.
on a particular process. It takes that custom conversation that you had and puts it into this systemized process. And
Right.
now, oh,
Otherwise,
okay,
otherwise
it
it
would
would
be
be a total
chaos.
mess, total chaos, total chaos.
And we don't want
Um,
chaos.
yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So, how about if someone comes and says, we're going to lose that white glove feel if we do
Mm.
this?
Well, with white glove, with when you are providing white glove service, you want to have consistent service as well, don't you? And it should be predictable. It's excellent and it's wonderful, but it's still predictable. And predictable white glove, predictable, high touch or uh highly what do you call it? Just feel good services
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
that makes it that makes it so that you're when it comes to doing that predictable providing predictable excellence, part of that is communication. When you're systematizing, you can communicate so much better, and you don't have and again you have the boundaries, and so there aren't like exceptions on exceptions on exceptions. Everybody knows. And when the client says, oh, I have an exception, I have an exception, you have a plan for that exception as well.
Yeah.
And so that helps that client to feel very well taken care of and cared for, and which is white glove service, isn't it?
Yeah. It's 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 the predictability and not the endless exceptions.
Yeah, that make it white glove. Right, because if
Yeah.
you have endless exceptions, well now, okay, well now how do we communicate well?
Mhm.
And how do we stay within our time, the time window that we uh
Yeah.
that we told the clients. Um, we
Yeah,
estimated for the
because
client.
if you
We
are
can't.
constantly trying to um, learn your way through the
Mm.
exceptions, that is just going to make things more difficult for you to deliver that exceptional service, right?
Yeah. You're
It's
constantly learning on the job
it's
and you don't
contradiction in terms,
that.
like you can't do it, um, can't
We
do it well.
yeah.
Um, all right.
Hmm.
So what about people that say, what if demand drops when we narrow our focus to that one core thing?
What tends to happen usually is that you end up losing the tire kickers and the people who aren't right. And the demand goes up for the people who are right. The ones, because now your message is clarified. And now they know, oh, I am the one. They're You're the right one for me because you're speaking directly to me. And so now that demand goes up because they know you're you're the right fit for them. So it's gonna have the opposite effect of demand going down. That right fit demand is gonna go up.
There's I heard somebody say this earlier today. I can't remember where. I actually think it was a interview with Ivanka Trump, which is interesting. But the seeing the signal in the noise, I think that's That's the key here. So
Yeah.
you want to be the signal in the noise, right? You want to be the one that has the clear, focused message in
Yeah.
amongst the whole, like especially now that the entire market, the entire like everything is just flooded with AI generated garbage, right? So like, you want to be able to say, hey, look at us over here. We're doing this thing. We do it really well. Come along for the ride. We're gonna
Yeah.
get you to where you want to be at the other side. So,
And we do it specifically for you. You're our
hmm
person. And so they know. It's really interesting. This is it's kind of bad in politics, but it's great in marketing. What they call the dog whistle, right? When you're talking and you're saying certain words that only the right person is really going to pick up on. Everybody
hmm
else is just noise. Well, yeah, you don't want that necessarily in politics, but we want it when it comes to our marketing. We want the right people to hear the right message at the right time
Yep,
and know that you're the right person for them.
absolutely, absolutely. All right. So, just to recap, three moves that you can do, three, not two, three moves in the next 7 days. First off, name your flagship outcome, right, and write its boundaries. What's in and what's out. I think that's key.
Oh,
Um,
certain things you're
two,
just not going to do.
exactly. What are you going to kill, right?
Hmm.
What are you going to kill off? Number two, publish the filters that tell you that this is a right lead, the correct lead for you, right? Make sure that they are written down and everyone is aware
Oh, and
who
it's
you're
good to let
for.
people know, like let your audience know, like,
Yep,
this is who this is for. This is who it's not for. If
right.
you're in the category of who it's not for, well, then you can look at this and self disqualify yourself,
Which just saves you time
which saves you
and
time.
and
Yeah.
heartbreak on the other side. So you're gonna the filters are gonna involve, who you're for, what
Mhm.
your timeline is, budget signals. Are you looking for budget shoppers? Are you looking for the middle of the market, or are you looking for the luxury buyers? Right? In
Yeah.
a K-shaped economy, everybody's going for the luxury buyers right now. But anyways, um, and then what are the deal breakers? What is not going to work for you? Right?
Right.
Have that defined. Do it. 7 days. You got 7 days.
Oh,
Three,
yeah.
standardize one handoff, whether that is somewhere between when they become a paying customer, you've closed them, you've won them over, um, and then the onboarding process. Like for example, that might be a good. What is? How can we standardize this? And then who's going to own that part of it? If you have a team, standardize it, write it down, make a checklist if you need one. I highly recommend them. They were going to make your life simple. And
Mhm.
then maybe even throw in a kickoff kit in there. And that could be any number of different things. If you want, we talk a lot of what we talk about with the V3 growth system is surprise, delight, and wow, right? You want to give your clients something to talk about, something that they're going to remember you for, right? Something that's
Yeah.
going to be like, wow, I can't believe they did that, that right there in that portion where they're a paying customer and you're onboarding them, that is the time to do that, right? I think,
It's
in
the
my
thing
opinion,
where
my humble opinion.
they become not just a great client, but they become a raving fan and they want to tell everybody about
Yes,
you.
yes, exactly. All right. So that's it for me.
So thank you for watching us here on the Growth Ceiling Podcast. We invite you to subscribe to this channel, tell others. Oh, and of course, if you've learned something today, give us your biggest takeaways in the comments. Let us know, what did you learn, and what are you going to talk about with your entrepreneur posse and your friends. All right. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.